Hey, fourth grade. All righty. Today we're getting into 9.6 and we're talking about adding fractional parts of tenths and hundredths. If you remember back to lesson 9.3, we talked about how we can equivalate tenths and hundredths with each other by multiplying our denominator by 10. 10 times 10 gets us to 100. All fractions with a denominator of 10 can be made into an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 100 just by the power of 10. Okay, if we multiply the denominator by 10, remember we must also multiply the numerator by 10. As you can see here, here's 1/10 shaded in, and when we show it on a hundredths chart, the shape is the exact same. It is a long. This is 10 ones, and this is 1/10. Okay, just like when we did place value back way in chapter 1. So 10 times 10 is going to get us 100, and 1 times 10 is going to get us 10. So 1/10 is equivalent to 10 100ths. All right, so let's do a couple more review and look here at 3/10. How much is 3/10 in hundredths? Well, remember, to get from 10 to 100, we have to multiply by 10, right? So if we multiply our denominator by 10, remember, to make an equivalent fraction, we must do the same to the numerator. So 3 times 10 would be 10, 20, 30. Very good. And as you can see by the models here, we've got 3/10, and when we've got 300 or 30 hundredths here, the exact same amount of space is shaded in. We just have these horizontal lines as well to make hundredths. All right, let's look at 8/10. Here are 8/10 shaded in here in the model. 10 times what gets me 100? 10. Very good. And in order to have an equivalent fraction, whatever we do to the denominator must also be done to the numerator. Very good. So 8 times 10 is going to get us how many hundredths? Very good. 80 hundredths. And again, you can see that the same amount of space is shaded in. We just have the horizontal lines here for hundredths. All right, now we should remember from when we were adding and subtracting fractions in chapter 7 that you cannot add fractions unless the denominator is the same. Well, here 3/10 plus 400ths, those denominators are not the same. However, we know how to change one of them. Okay, the 100ths can always stay the same. Okay, but we are going to have to change this tenth. So 3/10 is going to be how many hundredths? Well, we're going to have to multiply our denominators by 10, correct? So if we've got 10 times 10 to get us 100, we're going to have to do the same thing to the numerator, okay? So 3 times 10 is going to give us 30. So 3/10 is equivalent to 30 hundredths. Well, now can we add those up? Yes, we can. So 30 hundredths plus 4 hundredths is going to be 34 hundredths. All right, let's try another one. 9/10 plus 1 100th. So which fraction can we leave alone? Very good. We can leave this fraction alone right here, 1 100th, because that denominator is what we want it to be, the 100. But we are going to have to change this 9/10, okay? Here's 9/10 shaded in, and here's 1 100th shaded in. 9/10, when we change it to hundredths, is going to be equivalent to what? 10 times 10 gives us 100. 9 times 10 gives us 90. Very good. So we are going to be adding not 9/10 plus 1 100th, but we are going to be adding 90 100ths to 1 100th. So 90 hundredths plus 100th is 91 hundredths. All right, let's look at another one. 1/10 plus 5 hundredths. Which fraction can we leave alone? Yes, we can leave the 5 hundredths alone. It can stay the same. So that means we are going to have to change 1/10 into an equivalent fraction with our denominator being hundredths. Okay, again, here's our shape shaded in: 1/10, 5 hundredths. 1/10 is going to be equivalent to how many hundredths? Very good. 10 100ths. 10 times 10 is 100, and 1 times 10 is 10. And as you can see, when those horizontal lines got brought across, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hundredths. So we are not adding 1/10 plus 5 hundredths. We are going to be adding 10 hundredths plus 5 hundredths. So 10 hundredths plus 5 hundredths is, very good, 15 hundredths. Great job. All righty, last example. I want you to pause and I want you to do this on your own. And then when you hit play, I'll be right back here to go over it with you. Pause it. Okay, hopefully you worked this out on your own and you didn't just let the video play and watch me sit awkwardly in silence for a few seconds, but if you did, more power to you. Okay, so let's look at this one. Which fraction can stay the same? 5/10 plus 12 hundredths. Very good. You should have left 12 hundredths alone. There is 5 hundredths shaded in, and here is 12 hundredths shaded in. 5/10 is equivalent to how many hundredths? Very good. 50. 10 times 10 equals 100, and 5 times 10 equals 50. So now we are not going to be adding 5 plus 12, but we are going to be adding 50 plus 12. 50 plus 12 you should have gotten, very good, 62, and our denominator stays the same at 100. All right, guys, that is it for today. Of course, if you're doing your assignment and you need a refresher, you can always come back to this video for a quick recap of what we talked about today. Please make sure you are always checking your folders and always staying top of all of your work so you do not get behind. All right, fourth grade, have a wonderful afternoon. Tomorrow is Friday, so I will see you then with a new lesson. Have a great afternoon.